Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 action film The Courier, a film that is co-written and directed by Zachary Adler, and it stars Olga Kurylenko, Gary Oldman, Amit Shan, Gregory Orvis and Craig Conway. And this is a film that focuses on Olga Kurylenko's character, who is simply called the Courier, who is essentially someone who drives around London delivering things, high value packages, and she's highly trained to do so. She travels around on a motorbike, and this one night she's given the job to deliver this package to a building. However, what she doesn't realise is the package she is delivering has been ordered by Gary Oldman's character, let's see if I can get this right now, Ezekiel Mannings, who is a bad guy who is under house arrest, and you can tell Gary Oldman's a bad guy because he's got an eye patch, and he has ordered a hit basically on Amit Shah's character, who is the only witness to Gary Oldman's crime. He saw him commit murder, and he's like this big terrorist guy, Gary Oldman. So he's under house arrest by the authorities, but he's ordered this hit. And Olga Kurylenko's character delivers this package unknowingly to his headquarters, where Amit Shah's character is under protective custody. However, it all goes terribly wrong. The courier realises her mistake and then decides that she's going to protect Amit Shah's character Nick. Takes him to an underground parking lot. It gets locked down by the bad guys, and then it becomes a cat and mouse chase of a cat and mouse game of survival, where the courier has to protect this witness's life before they are taken out by these heavily armed terrorists. Right, now what did I think of the Courier? Well, it's actually a very very watchable action film, and there are aspects of this film that are indeed quite a lot of fun to watch. It's well put together, it's got a very good cast, and the action is certainly watchable and passable for the most part. It's not going to win any Oscars for its dialogue. I mean, the dialogue is cringe-inducing at times. I'll give you a couple of examples. There's a scene where somebody gives her military past over a radio to the head honcho in the parking lot, and he says, "Oh, so she's a ghost. We'll find her." And he's just like, "Oh my god!" And there's another scene where the courier is talking to Nick, and they've both been through hell at this point, and she basically explains who she is and her past, etc., which is weird in the first place because it didn't need to be said. And then she explains that she's alone, and then Nick happily says to her, "Well, you're not alone now, I'm with you." And again you were like, ooh, it was really cringe-inducing dialogue. It really was. And it's classic Gary Oldman. He doesn't have an awful lot of interesting things to say, but he delivers it in the classic villain Gary Oldman way, i.e. he shouts it. So if you want to see the Leon version of Gary Oldman, and the Fifth Element version of Gary Oldman, he's very much on display here, if a little bit with the volume turned down. But he's tapping into his past roles here, playing the bad guy. The soundtrack I found a little bit off-putting. It was a bit too, I don't know, techno and beaty and loud at times. It was a little bit off-putting. Very predictable stuff, but the action and the fight scenes actually worked quite well for the most part. I thought the fight scenes were well put together. She was very resourceful, to the point where initially she has no weapons, so she has to get very MacGyver on these bad guys and a bit Rambo, and so she's very resourceful in the way that she starts taking them out and stuff. And the fights that she has with these, like, you know, big guys are really quite well put together. However, it's not like John Wick fight scenes where everything's in frame and you can see it's Keanu Reeves. Here It's one of those fast edit type fight scenes that it still looks good and it's fairly entertaining and pretty brutal, but I suspect the fast edits and things were to hide the performer, i.e. put a stunt double in there and things like that. But they were very watchable, certainly. But yeah, and she was very trash talker. She's talking over the radio to the bad guys and telling them what she's going to do to them and things like that, which I thought was really, really fun as well. So a really, really strong female character here, and it really worked for the movie. I think this is probably a better representation of women in action films than the new Charlie Angels film. However, I haven't seen the new Charlie Angels film, so I'm making an assumption there. I think that's probably tried to be a little too retro, or a little too in your face in regards to the feminist stuff, the Charlie's Angels film, where this isn't. It's just a woman in an action lead, and she kicks ass, and it doesn't really matter that she's a woman, and it works really, really well. You don't care that she's a woman in this film, in this lead part, and Olga Kurylenko handles the physicality of this role brilliantly. No complaints at all about any of that. So, if you're wanting a pretty cheesy but very watchable action film that's competently put together with, decent performances by everybody, especially Olga Kurylenko and Amit Shah, who's like the comedy sidekick, the guy she's protecting. You could do far worse than this. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I was certainly entertained with it, although some of the dialogue was very off-putting. It was really awful at times. But yeah, pretty slick action film and certainly worth checking out if you get this chance. So that's my review for The Courier. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and of course I'll see you next time for more reviews on Screen Stars.